What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I'm going to be discussing Death Stranding's ending. I'm going to be trying my best to explain it in the most simple terms I possibly can. Basically, kind of connecting the dots of what this entire game is about, considering that's what the ending really does for you. You know, the last, I'd say, 2 hours, 15 minutes of this game really puts everything it just shows you everything. It tells you there's a lot of things explained to you that kind of solve a lot of the mysteries of the game. So we're going to be going over some of that. And again, I'm going to try and say it as easily as I possibly can, which will be a little tough because this game obviously is quite difficult to understand. But I'm going to do my best. If you guys think you can explain it any better or any more simply in the comments below, definitely make sure you do that. I'd greatly appreciate it. Same thing if I'm missing something or if I've just got something flat out wrong, make sure you let me know in the comments below. Now, I also want to say right from the beginning, I'm going to be using some of this YouTube user, KN Could Hurry. He had a YouTube comment that did a really good job of explaining it. So I'm going to be using a little bit of what he says as well, just because I think he puts it really simply in terms of the simplest way you can possibly do this game or talk about this game. Okay, so the ending happens, and it takes place in multiple different locations. It takes places on a beach. It takes places basically in the past. It takes place during the present. Lots of different things happening, but the main couple things that happen is this. You find out that Clifford Unger, who is Mad Mikkelsen's character, Cliff, who is, for most of the game looked at as kind of like an arch enemy. You don't necessarily know if he's purely evil. You don't know if he wants to completely destroy you, but he's definitely not your friend. He's definitely an adversary for most of the game. You find out that he is your father, okay? And it has been hinted at pretty much throughout the entire game. Even if you look at the trailers, I mean, there are scenes that were there as well. But he is your father, and you were born to a mother who died basically in childbirth. A still mother, which I believe is what they call it. So she was brain dead. She was lying on the table. She wasn't going to survive this. And Cliff took her out of her misery and eliminated her. I don't want to use the bad words that YouTube doesn't like to hear all that much in this video. So Cliff takes her out, and then Cliff ends up getting hunted down by basically his own men. So he takes you, who's the baby, and he wants to protect you, but he also wants to leave. He's not going to stay there. He had originally made a deal with the military, with the president, to have you basically be there, but he realized that because of who you are, that you're going to be used as a BB, which is going to be the first baby of its kind to be able to basically blend these two universes, right? These parallel universes of life and death come back and forth, and really to connect it. So a very dangerous tool, basically, if under the wrong hands, and he doesn't want that to basically happen. He sees kind of his mistake that he made, so he takes you and he tries to run for it. He does not succeed. He ends up being shot and killed, as well as you. He drops you on your, and I'm saying you as in Sam. Sam is a very obviously important character as well, which we'll get to later on in this video. So he drops Sam. Sam dies in the process of it. You're transported to the beach because obviously you are no longer with the living. And Amelie is there. And she basically brings you back. Now her Ka, the soul part of you, remember there's Ka and Ha in this game, just to make it even more confusing. Her soul is on this beach. She finds you as the BB. And so she and also Strand, who are two halves of the exact same person, they brought you back. Okay, they decided, okay, well, we're going to revive him. But by doing that, they basically created the entire game, which I feel like is that really big twist. Obviously, another big twist was that Amelie was never real, really, to begin with. She was a ghost. And again, she is two sides of the exact same person. As well, you find that out, and you talk to her for a very extended period of time at the end of the game as well. But she is the EE, the Extinction Entity, which is a being that basically every single time they get the ability to basically be able to wipe out the entire Earth. It's happened 5 times before, and this will be the 6th time. Now, they don't have to do it, I guess, if they don't want to, and that's kind of where I'm a little even fuzzy on this game. Once it started, this extinction, or it cannot be stopped, okay? Once it starts, it cannot be stopped, but I don't think it necessarily has to happen, especially because the ending, you prevent it. She does not end up going through with it. She basically cuts ties to you, which means you can no longer see her. You can no longer go to her beach. She'll be left there alone, all by herself for however long, hundreds, thousands, hundred thousands of years, but at least this mass extinction will be at least delayed. It'll still happen, which she makes very clear to you. You're just delaying things, but it's not going to happen right now. Now, going back to the past, okay, so you're revived, you're back. That is what gives him the ability to basically never die. If you die in the game, you're pretty much just transported to a beach, you can find your body, and then you're back in it, right? And that's the whole point of the game, is you really cannot die. You have that power, the doom power, they call it, right? Where you are able to kind of sense the BTs in general. You cannot touch them, but you know they are there, and that's where that Fragile, that character comes into play. She actually is more sensitive than you, but that's where that whole thing comes from. Those people are considered to be like special people in this universe. So again, Sam kind of always had that. He always was looked at as special. That's why they wanted to use him basically to be the first person to be able to go back and forth the way he ended up being, right? But by doing that, by bringing him back to the world of the living, that is what caused this Death Stranding, which is, again, is this cataclysmic event in general. Because he was able to transport back to the living, it kicked it off, right? So now anybody, not really anybody, but now a fair amount could jump back and forth, which are those BTs. So the BTs were able to be transported to the living. And again, this is where the people that are a little bit more sensitive, Higgs, which is Troy Baker's character, there are a couple characters in this game that have these, again, these doom powers or these doom abilities where they are pretty sensitive to these BTs. He is so powerful that he can kind of manipulate them, he can kind of control them, and that's where he gets his whole thing. So when Sam is brought back to life, it's quickly found out that he no longer can serve the purpose that they want him to be, right? That the bridges want him to do. He cannot actually do it anymore. He can't be used in that same way. So the President Strand, she takes him as her own son, which again is kind of what you go through the whole game. You're believing all this stuff to just find out at the end that there was a whole lot more to the story. Sam then marries a woman. She ends up dying due to childbirth, I believe. Also, the child doesn't make it through that as well, and then he goes to be the delivery guy, okay? And so that's how basically he gets to the point he is in Death Stranding. So, again, a lot going on in general. It kind of just makes the game, in my opinion, to kind of self-analyze this, it kind of makes the game a little bit more simple when you look at it just basically from these last 2 hours, as you find out a couple characters' hidden meanings, you find out some characters that didn't even exist in the first place, you find out really how you were able to do all of this kind of stuff. I find it to be pretty darn interesting. I know I've seen a lot of people say that they weren't real, that's kind of a disappointment just in general. One last thing, too, just to make it clear, is President Strand and Amelie are the same person, which we kind of already said. When she was in her 20s, she experienced a near-death experience, and that's what split her soul into two. So that's what gave Amelie the ability to do what she is. So again, she is not real. She's stuck on that beach. To Sam, she's able to actually touch him, and he's even said that, and she does touch him at the end when she hugs him or he hugs her. He's able to touch her and stuff, but she only comes through to everybody else through holograms, and that's what really makes a lot of people question, what is she even a real thing? And again, the big twist is they don't, this EE, right, the extinction entity, they don't know that it's her, and so you find out that she actually is that person. And again, it's kind of, from what I've read and from what I understand, it just jumps into, it basically goes to a person each time. I believe to her, it kind of scared her when it went into her, and that's kind of what made President Strand lose her mind. So it jumps from person to person. Again, they have the ability to wipe out everything. That's how the dinosaurs were eliminated. But each time, all 5 times, humanity managed to survive it. Barely, but they did. That's what she was kind of getting at towards the end of the game when she told Sam, every time people rebelled, people fought back, people evolved. So people were able to basically survive it while most of them got wiped out, which is pretty much what's happened here. Some did, in fact, make it and kind of push on. And it's always going to happen. It's going to continue to happen. But again, kind of like a bleak-ish outlook while also kind of some positivity. Because, again, basically the game ends on, this is still going to happen. I'm going to delay it as long as I can. But, there's no stopping it. One day, this is going to hit again. And the 6th time is going to come. And you guys are all going to be gone. If you survive it miraculously, then you'll survive it. But I'm just buying you time. Okay, so I believe, to put it most simply, Cliff's the dad. Sam was killed when he was a newborn child. He was basically resurrected back to life. Because of that, he in a way caused this entire thing, caused this Death Stranding. He's the reason why they're able to jump planes, including himself. He's able to do it as well. He's able to come back. He can't really die anymore. So I'm pretty sure that is all there is really to explain of Death Stranding. If I've missed anything, if there's something else insanely important that I have not gotten to, please let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And I really do appreciate all of you watching. This was a pretty hard video, and I really wanted to do as much watching, as much reading as I possibly could to try and give you guys the best video. We're going to have more Death Stranding videos over the next couple days, kind of talking about just different features of the game, more discussion-y kind of videos on Death Stranding. So if you guys like that stuff, make sure you continue to come to our channel for more discussions. Okay, so thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.